Cat in a chair. He wanted the chair, so we're standing for today's video. Anyway, hello. How are all of you? It's been a couple of days since I've uploaded, but I'm trying to not get on a daily upload schedule. That's not something I want to do. Just so happens that's what was going on. But I was out today. Went out today. Had myself little day to myself. Treated myself to lunch. Went to the mall. Picked up some new incense and went and got my ears pierced. So I used to have the hoop. A lot of you guys know about the hoop that was in this ear. This was the only ear that was pierced. Went to a piercer here in town. She was very nice, very sweet, very hot. And she ended up piercing this one as well. So now I have new piercings. This is very sensitive. I'm trying not to touch it, but it itches like a motherfucker. But thankfully I now have the experience that I didn't have last time to know what's going on. Anyway, as I was out today, I was thinking about what I wanted my next video to be about. I've seen some TikToks that I thought, I could do the commentary YouTuber thing and be like, this TikTok trend is weird. This is wild. Let's talk about this bizarre TikTok trend, like those kind of things. And we might do that. But today, what I really wanted to go over was something that I'm kind of proud of myself for, I think is the best way to put this. And that is that in 2 months, when the year is over, I will officially have gone a whole year without getting into a relationship. For the first time since I was 16. And so for a lot of people, you might be thinking to yourself, well, that's a weird thing to celebrate, or that's an odd, like, why are you so happy about that? And I just wanted to kind of run through, like, why I'm so happy about that, why I think that that's a good thing. And I'm kind of hoping that this video helps a lot of you out there with the same struggles that I was going through, and how you can like maybe feel a little bit more fulfilled in your day-to-day lives. So ever since I was young, I'd say probably about from the time I was about 10 or 11, I've always had this kind of hopeless romantic side of me where I just loved love stories. I love the idea. I love reading stories about two people falling in love and getting together and all of that. And I personally love the idea of being in love, right? I love the idea of having someone who you can't be without, who you just yearn for, having someone where at night you get to fall asleep in each other's arms. And one of my biggest things is like dancing in the living room to a song that you both love, taking walks in the park. I enjoy taking myself out to like lunch and movies and things like that, but occasionally I would like to, have someone with me. Occasionally I'd like to go see a movie and afterwards walk out holding hands and talk about the movie we just saw. There's just a lot of things that you can't do with friends that you can do with partners, and I would like a partner for that. And I've been like that for a very long time. But unfortunately, low self-esteem combined with wanting a partner has led to me having a gauntlet of psycho exes. Like, out of everybody I've ever dated, which has been a lot, there's only been 2 of them that I would go back to because I think that they were genuinely meant for me. And the reason I would go back to them is because I genuinely had feelings for them before they admitted they had feelings for me. And the reason that's important is because almost every single relationship I've ever been in has been people who I didn't have those kind of feelings for before. They just told me they had those feelings for me, and I had such low self-esteem, and I was so desperate to be in a relationship with someone that I just took it. Like, all the way to my ex-wife. Like, my ex-wife, that was the situation. I didn't have feelings for her first. She had the feelings for me. And I was in one of those moods, like I'd probably once every 4 or 5 months, I'd get what I call relationship depression, where it just, I want one so bad. I need one, that when she came along and she was like, I think you're hot and I think you're cute and I think you're funny and I want to be with you, I was just like, I'm gonna go for it. And while that ended up being my longest relationship of 2.5 years, it was also kind of my worst one. Like, the first 6 months were like solid, and then it just went downhill. And one day one day I'm gonna do like a full video, like when I have people who will like see my face and see the title "The Story of My Marriage," and they're gonna be like actually interested in how that fell apart. Then I'll tell that story, you know, maybe for like 10,000 subscribers or something, I don't know. But it's a wild one. But the point is that there's only ever been two. The first one was a girl, or a woman, because we were both 19, I guess. I don't know, how do you say that? I guess a girl, like as I am now, 19 is like a kid. When I was 19, it was an adult, so I don't know. Anyway, she wanted to be a marine biologist, and I was still a struggling stand-up comedian, but we met online on Tumblr. That was back when I was still kind of like Tumblr famous, and we hit it off really good, but we just ended up realizing, you know, she was a struggling college kid with no money. I was a janitor at a college doing stand-up part-time with no money. There was really no future in which we would ever be able to meet in person. And so we just kind of let it fall apart. We both kind of just came to the agreement that, hey, we really like each other. We think we love each other. You know, it was honestly one of the first times it was the first time I'd ever been in a relationship where the word love wasn't used in like the first 2 days. Like we actually like talked like genuine people about our feelings, and the word love didn't come until like 2 months into the relationship. But eventually we just realized that there was no realistic way for where we were at in life to see each other. And so I doubt she will, but Brooke, if you ever see this, I hope you're doing well. It's been 14 years. I hope you're out there studying the orcas, like her favorite animal is an orca. I hope you're doing well. The second one was actually more recently. It was one of my mods who I'd come to know pretty well, and we were together for 3 months, and I was in probably one of the worst places I've ever been in my life. I was suffering really bad from chronic depression. I spent whenever I wasn't working or making content, I was sleeping, and so I hardly was ever able to call her. And she lived in England, so the time difference was already a problem. And one day I just kind of like came to the realization that, I mean, realistically, you know, I wasn't good for her. It was all my fault. It was 100% my fault. I take responsibility for it to this day. I recently talked to her again, and she's so sweet, because she says she doesn't blame me, or that she doesn't fully blame me. She blames herself a little bit. But yeah, I hope she's doing well as well. She's absolutely wonderful, and she did not deserve to have such a negligent boyfriend, and that was always my fault. And so, outside of those two, all the rest of them were people who approached me first. And out of desperation, I said yes. And it led to relationships that lasted a week to maybe 3 months. And relationships where we were constantly arguing and fighting with each other. Relationships where I was cheated on, I think more times than I can count at this point. Relationships where when I didn't want to fight anymore and I broke it off, they threatened to kill my family. That is not a joke. And I started thinking about these, and I realized that a long time ago I heard this phrase that for a long time I wasn't really down with, but I think more recently I've kind of come to understand it, where they're like, if every single one of your exes is psycho, you are the only common denominator. And I used to think that that was like maybe kind of like victim blaming, you know, like, oh, you're the only common denominator, you have to be the psycho one. But it also is talking about like your life choices, right? Like, for me, I'm the common denominator because I allowed people to basically manipulate me because I wanted to be loved so much. Because I was so desperate for a relationship. I was so desperate to have somebody care about me that I just let whoever into my love life. I let whoever into my brain, my secrets, my heart. And it often led to me not being compatible with those people because they didn't really fit what I wanted out of life. They were all hot, but that was like it. Like for a lot of them being hot was like their only redeeming factor. And I would not allow myself to see the bad in people, or at least the incompatibility in people, because I was so desperate. And so the reason that it's such a big milestone for me to go a full year without getting in a relationship. Is I've had offers this year. I have had at least 3 people want to date me this year, and I've told them all no. I've told them all no because I didn't like them that way. Not that they weren't good people. I mean, some of them were, but I didn't see any of them that way. And I'm about a month and a half ago. Yeah, about a month and a half ago, I met my coworker, and she is very pretty. And I had realized probably about a week or 2 after meeting her, I had no romantic feelings for her. None. Like, she's hot, but I like her as a friend. I like her as a friend, and I'm able to hang out with her and not think about an alternative reality where we're together. And I think a lot of that comes from the fact that I'm no longer desperately searching for a relationship, right? And that is so important to me, because that means that the next relationship I do get into is going to be one where I am ready for that to occur. And hopefully this time it will last a long time, because I will have properly gotten to know the person. I will have compared them to the things that I want out of life and seen if they were somewhere I wanted to be. And I think that's the biggest milestone for me as a person in honestly quite a long time. In like legitimately a long time. It's the biggest milestone for me to be able to look at someone critically when thinking, could I be in a relationship with this person? Because I don't know about the rest of you, but I think about that question with almost everybody I meet. Like everybody who's in my age range, right? I go 6 years below, 6 years above. Generally when I meet somebody in that age range, I will think to myself, could this be somebody I could be with? And before this year, like I'd say like end of last year, the question was always, well, we could ignore that. We could ignore that part. And nowadays when I meet someone, I'm able to think about it logically and realize that because I still want a relationship, right? I still want all of those things I talked about. I'm still a hopeless romantic. I still want to fall in love and have somebody who loves me back and all of these other things. But I'm able to logically think about whether or not this person is going to provide that in the long term, right? Because they might provide that in the short term, a week, 2 weeks, hell, even a month. They might be that for me. But what happens when the things that I chose to ignore start rearing their ugly heads, right? What happens when the red flags come out? What happens when inevitably another relationship falls apart because this person is either not mature enough, even if they're my age, some people just don't mature, or they are genuinely pieces of shit. I've dated women who are too controlling and too manipulative and things like that. And so I guess what I really wanted out of this video was to kind of tell people hey, it's okay to take it slow. If you're low on self-esteem, if you really want a relationship, it is okay to take it slow, to be your own person, to take your time being with someone. And that's the most important lesson I want to teach other people. Because when this year's over and I'll officially, since the first year since I was 16, officially have gone the entire year without being in one single relationship, I will feel like I am ready to take on the idea of dating someone. I will feel like I am officially ready to take on the idea of going out on dates and getting to know someone and taking it slow. And I'm fucking really upset it took to my early 30s to learn this lesson, but at least I learned it. Better late than never, as they always say. But let me know your experiences down below. Tell me what you guys think. And if you've been like me, how did you crawl out of the pit? Or if you've been like me, are you crawling out of the pit of self-deprecation and despair and the idea that you'll never get somebody to love you? Tell me how it is. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it.